Hey, Angie and Heather here again from Canadian Fertility Consultants, here to answer a few more questions that we've had come in. First off, let's start with what are the side effects of hormones?
It's a good question.
It is a great question.
And, I've done it before, and I found myself Googling it again.
Did you?
Yeah, totally. Like, as soon as I started the estrace, because I'm like, what can I excuse on these guys, right? For me, the biggest one for estrace is a little bit of weight gain.
Yeah.
But luckily enough, a lot of it happens right up here, right? So
this is why our boobs are so good right now. We're both on estrogen. That's the big thing that people like to say is, hello, estrus boobies. Yeah. And I mean, who's going to complain about those? Right? But let's all be honest here. They do suck. They're like PMS. So you know how like you were like, I am literally about to kill you moments? Sometimes that's how you feel on estrogen.
It happens a little more frequently.
Yeah. But every time I've taken it, it's different.
It's true. I think it's like underlying. It's like how much stress are you under? And then it just magnifies it enough. So
yeah. It really depends on what you're going through.
Twin 8-year-old girls, it tends to be a little intense.
For kids kind of do like a little bit of pushing, it really makes you be like, I'm just going to push you back. Yeah. No. It's
headaches is another one. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. I've never gotten it, but some people
First time ever. This round of hormones that I'm on is the first time ever. And it was only the first day. I took some ibuprofen. First day, just one round of it, and it's been fine. So I'm on day 5 of estrogen right now, and headaches are gone. Okay. I've heard other people complain that they continue. But yeah, so really like bitchiness, headaches, nice boobs, a little bit of weight gain, some bloats. Bloats. Some people will complain that their tummy looks kind of pregnant. I haven't experienced that myself. Maybe it's because I have a little bit more cushion.
Yeah, I know, right? I see. The thing is, like, as soon as I started the hormones, like, because I was on a low carb diet. Now
you stopped it.
I've been like, so really, how much can I blame on estrogen and how, right?
Higher.
Probably mostly the pizza. Not gonna lie.
Put down the pizza.
Yeah, true. And progesterone, I don't notice any side effects specific for
personally,
it.
Maybe except for estrogen makes you so hormonal.
Like the combo basically tricks your body into thinking it's pregnant, right? So and that's kind of the tricky thing is that because you're taking these hormones, you might get those pregnancy symptoms. Even if you're not like pregnant, right? So that can be a little bit tricky. But
and often you'll hear girls say, I feel pregnant, like I can't believe it didn't work because I feel pregnant. It's because you're taking hormones that make you feel pregnant. So don't be surprised if you feel pregnant and your transfer didn't work. That's totally because of the hormones you're taking. So
I find it can be helpful too to know why you're taking the hormones, so look into it. Or I mean, the estrogen builds that thick luscious lining that the baby gets to burrow into and spend those cozy months in, and the progesterone, that's what is released after you would typically ovulate. It's vital. It needs to be there for a pregnancy to be sustained. So because you're not ovulating as a surrogacy process, you need to take it, right? So I think that's kind of helpful to
get your mind over it, because and to know the greater good. So you find out the story of your couple or your single parent or whatever it is, and fall in love with that story so that you know there's a greater good for taking them. Because both Heather and I are like the most natural, funky, like herbal type people, and then we went from this, right? Like from, and it's one of those things that it's a greater good, and it's a part of the process. So yeah. And how do you explain to your partner?
That's a good one. I'm single right now. So for me, well, you know what though? I found it because I date people. It happens, right? And so I, mention it up front. I'm like, oh, and by the way, I'm going to be getting pregnant soon, by the way. So it was never an issue. I was with somebody during my last journey, and it was just kind of one of those things. I came into the relationship already wanting to do this. But we're such strong personalities, right? Like for me, it's like, this is something I'm doing, so you can love it, or you can love it, right? So I think that's the thing. But honestly, just like explaining your background and what brought you to wanting to do it, why it's so important to you, and talking to other girls and kind of getting an idea of what they're And like I think the more socially acceptable it becomes in our circle, so many people are doing or have done
crazy. How many people?
That it's just like it's a normal thing now. It's like
you're doing a surrogacy? Oh yeah, my friend down the street does surrogacy. It's becoming a thing. Right?
Yeah, which is amazing. Yay. Like it's such an awesome community. But I think that's helping too.
Yeah. I think it's really important too if your partner says, no, you're not doing that, to say, okay, well, why can't I do this? What are your fears? What are those things that are, you know, wanting you to say no? Because oftentimes you can talk about those fears and figure them out and make it work. Because just because they say no off the bat doesn't mean that it's a solid no, because it could be fears of, okay, well, what happens if XYZ? I'm worried about you emotionally postpartum and things like that. And so these are things that you guys can combat together to talk about and, you know, make okay.
Yeah, make them part of the process.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if there are things that they would feel more comfortable with, like, for example, I know some surrogates whose partners have felt more comfortable with them working with, for example, a heterosexual couple, or, you know, whatever the case may be, and listening to those concerns and saying, you know what, I respect that. Let's do X, Y, Z instead. Or maybe, you know, a worry is that they would carry twins. Say, well, then let's do a single embryo transfer. Or, you know, if, you know, the list is endless. But absolutely, like, listening to them and making some changes based on what they think.
And the next question is, can I use a midwife? And Heather and I can solidly say yes, because we both had a midwife for our journey. And the question can alternate say, can I use an OB? Yes. You're going to choose whoever you love, whatever works best for you. At CFC, we're really passionate about your body, your choice. You know, you're going to pick your care provider. You're going to pick where you're going to birth. If home birth is a thing for you and you're really passionate about it, we're going to find you intended parents that are passionate about home birth and want to do that with you and support you. If you want to, you know, have a C-section, you've never had one before, we're going to say, you know what, this is your body, your choice. You take that and make this your birth. We really want to support you where you are. I
think it's just being clear with CFC before matching, right? And understanding that it might take more time to get a match, right? So for me, a midwife was an absolute deal breaker. I needed to have that to feel safe in my journey, right? That's just my thing. I've always had a midwife. And, you know, it can take a little longer to find IPs that are comfortable with that, right? Not lately, though, I found.
No,
like, midwives are, like, so big now.
Yeah.
Only there were more of them, right?
Yeah. And so, it's...
And doulas, too. Like, if you've had a doula before, even if you haven't, it can be just such an important part, especially in a surrogacy birth, just because... You know, it's just different. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have that same connection that you do during your own birth. So having a doula there that's there for you and to make you feel comfortable and supported and that sort of thing.
Really important.
Make that part of your contract, right? That's something that you want. And then it's, you know, it's there for you.
Taken care of. So just always remember your body, your choice. You make the choices. You're in control of this journey, and they're along for the ride. These intended parents love you and want to support you, but they're along for the ride. And the choices that you make, you know, care provider wise, where you're birthing, how you're birthing, those are your choices to make, and nobody can make those choices for you. So we will support you in whatever those choices are. So so I think that's it for this week. Once again, if you have any questions for us, feel free to tweet us or comment down below. And I will remember my Twitter name this week. It is @CFCNG CFC.
Oh my God.
Bye guys. Talk to you soon.